average the signal once in a while. It's called average power tracking. Then it helps me shave off some of the, so this area you're saving some power, but that's still not good enough. So, but since we have modem available to us, we're able to track the signal as close as possible. So all this extra power that was here is all that's not being wasted anymore, and that has significant improvement. That results in significant improvement in power consumption. In 100 megahertz signal bandwidth uplink signal in 5G, the difference between this to this is up to 2x. You're reducing your current by almost half by just switching over to this technology. So the implications are significant. Now, what we've done in this demo is we looked at an actual network in a major city that has in this area, which has about 300, almost 400 macro sites, about 10,000 users. We looked at one of the key 5G bands, N41, that's 2.5 gigahertz, and we have similar data for 3.5 gigahertz as well. And then we wanted to see how does this technology impact the overall network and users in the network in terms of user experience. So we picked a few metrics that are important in 5G. One is uplink MIMO. A lot of operators, in order to improve the overall throughput across the network, are asking for uplink MIMO support in devices. And here we're looking at the comparison of MIMO capability with a device that has average power tracking versus envelope tracking, and comparing those two. So here we have all those users that are spread across the city, and then I can pick any one of those 10,000 users and go see what kind of MIMO rank they're receiving, what's the radio efficiency on the device, or throughput per milliamp. That's how we look at radio efficiency, transmit power, and so on. So we can do.
Is this a simulation or actual?
So the measurements were made on an actual network, but on an actual LTE network for the same cell sites, and then we just co-located a 5G cell. But the 5G data is based on propagation models. Yeah, so it's a mix of real measurements and simulation, because this was built before 5G launched in commercial networks. But we have a network planning team that works with operators. They have a very sophisticated network planning tool that takes into account the city propagation models for each city. So this is what is used in actual deployment. So it's pretty solid data.
This MIMO rank is that for 4x4? What would the ideal rank? 2 or 4?
In the case of uplink MIMO, 2 would be ideal.
Okay.
So we look at it as anything above 1.5 gives you above 50% chance of getting a MIMO signal. Anything below 1.5, you're closer to a low MIMO. So what we're seeing here is network-wide, about 24% more users are able to get uplink MIMO. So you dramatically increase how many users can get a higher throughput. And then similarly, we can look at modulation. Uplink 256 QAM, all these red dots are users that upgraded from a 64 QAM signal to a 256 QAM uplink signal. And in this case, we're looking at about an 18x increase in number of users who can get 256 QAM. And what that results in is, if I switch over to a network-wide metric, we're looking at a 27% increase in the network's capacity. Just because
You're getting off quickly.
Yeah, better spectral efficiency, higher throughput for more users, so you increase the network capacity in effect.
This is one cell site.
This is 375 cell sites.
375.
Yeah. So this is a full city. I can zoom around. And it also takes into account which users are indoors versus outdoors. So here I've checked on indoors, because when it comes to network capacity, the hardest areas are indoors.
Yeah.
So we're looking at that data, and then
Especially
what's that?
for band 41, right? So Sprint uses a lot of those relay
Band 41.
boxes.
Yeah.
Is that part of this?
So this technology is on the device. Yeah.
Not through the.
Not on the network.
Really?
So actually, operators love this because it costs them nothing to increase their metrics by a double-digit percentage. So they're asking OEMs to implement ET, and in fact, most I In fact, all Qualcomm-based premium tier devices have ET built in. But when it comes to wideband ET, that's what we're trying to promote and push further. What's interesting is there are other premium tier phones that are not Qualcomm that are still in APT. So it just boggles my mind that there can be such a gap in power performance, but they're out there. So $1,000 phones that are sucking double the current. So it just blows my mind.
You don't
that
have
it's
to
still out
name
there.
any names.
I don't need to name any. And the last metric we have is network coverage. So if you can solve the indoor or improve indoor coverage, then you've essentially expanded the network, so to speak. So here we're looking at about 27% increase in the coverage area for HD video call, for example, or 13% increase on a basic connectivity. So if I pick one of these users here, there are about 13% more users are able to connect or at least have any connectivity because of envelope tracking.